Okay, Math 102 final exam review starting with number 32. We're getting into systems of equations. So in the first one, you are just substituting the given x value and the given y value into both equations to see if they give you a true statement. So if I take 2 times 1 minus 4 times negative 1, does that equal 6? And 2 plus 4 does equal 6, so it works for that equation. Now I have to take 6 times 1 plus negative 1, and does that equal 1? And 6 minus 1 does not equal 1, so this would not be a solution. Now, we have lots of different ways for solving systems of equations, and the first way that were presented was with graphing. So I'm going to do these lines in different colors and hope that they have a point of intersection. Let's do that in a different color, sorry. So we will do 3x minus y equals negative 5. And the easiest way to do this is to solve for y, so that you get negative x minus 1, and then divide by negative 1 so that you get y is equal to x plus 1. So 1 is the y-intercept, and my slope is 1 over 1, which means I'm going to rise 1 and run 1, and so I'm going to create this line right here. And I'm going to down 1 and left 1, and I'm going to continue my line through there. So that is my first line. Then I'm going to solve for y by subtracting 3x, and then I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 so that my starting point is at positive 5, and then I'm going to go up 3. My slope is either up 3 and right 1 or down 3 and left 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. And so my point of intersection, there's my line. My point of intersection, or my solution, is negative 2 for x and negative 1 for y. Now, we had the substitution method or the addition method, but this one, number 34, is set up perfectly for substitution. I'm going to take this for y and substitute it into that first equation. So 4x minus 3 times what y is in terms of x is equal to negative 19. My goal is to get one variable, and so now I have 4x minus 3x minus 15 is negative 19. This makes x minus 15 is negative 19. And now I add 15 to both sides so that I get x is negative 4. And once I know what x is, then I take that value and I substitute it into here so that I get y is equal to negative 4 plus 5, which is 1. So we write our solution as an ordered pair with x first and y second. Now, for the addition method, that's the easiest method that I think. When you do the addition method, you're looking for opposite signs. So I just automatically draw a line, and I'm going to add these two equations together. So x plus x makes 2x, positive y and negative y make 0, and 22 plus 10 makes 32. And then I solve for x by dividing, and so x comes out to be 16. And then I do have to substitute, and so I'm just going to plug it into this first equation. 16 plus y is equal to 22, and so I'm going to subtract, and so y is 6. So we write our ordered pair of 16 and 6. Now, this one you can choose whichever way you want to solve it. And so because I have positive y and that has a single variable, I could solve it for substitution, or I could decide to multiply this entire equation by -3. And so that would make -9x minus 3y is equal to -36. And then I have 4x plus 3y is equal to 6. And I like to use the addition method, so that's what I'm going to do. Those cancel out. -9x and positive 4x makes -5x. -36 and positive 6 makes -30. Divide through, and so that tells me that x is 6. And once I know what x is, substitute it into either one of the original equations. I'm going to take 3 times 6 and add y and get 12. So 18 plus y is equal to 12. I subtract 18 from both sides. I get y is -6. So my ordered pair is +6 and -6. Now we use system of equations to set up our equations. And so what I'm going to do is I don't think I'm actually going to solve these. I'm just going to set up these equations, and then hopefully you guys can solve them using either the substitution or the elimination method. So you have two numbers have a sum of 112. So I'm going to say x plus y is equal to 112, and then their difference, x minus y, is equal to 48. And again, this is going to be set up perfectly because your positive x and your positive y and your negative y are going to cancel out. So you are going to get 2x, x plus x is 2x, and 112 plus 48 makes 160. And so then I would divide, and x is going to be 80. So now we don't write these in ordered pairs. We just simply write them as two separate numbers. And so then what I would do is I would substitute it into this one. And so if I have 80 plus y is equal to 112, that means 112 minus 80 is going to give me y, or the second number, as 32. And so you just can list these numbers as just two numbers separated by comma, since it'll be multiple choice question. On the next one, we've got hot dogs and bags of potato chips. So I'm going to use H for hot dogs. And I'm going to use P for potato chips. And so it says a customer buys 2 hot dogs and 2 bags of potato chips for $5.50. And then another customer buys 4 hot dogs and 3 bags of potato chips, and that's equal to $10. And so here I would probably multiply everything times -2 in that top equation. And so when I do that, it's going to give me -4h minus 4p is equal to, and 550 times -2 is going to be -11. And so then this is going to cross off, and 3p minus 4p is -p, and 10 minus 11 is -1. So potato chips cost $1. And then I can go back and figure out what the hot dogs cost by plugging it into, either one. So if you buy 2 bags of potato chips, that's $2, and 550 minus $2 is $3.50. And if I divide that by 2, it gives me hot dogs are $1.75. So you can go back and do the substitution. If you need help on seeing that, just let me know, and I can send an email on that one. All right, for number 39, it says one number is 4 more than a second number. So we're going to let the second number equal x, and then the other number is 4 more than x. So if it says 2 times the first number, so let me make sure I did this right. First number, let's call them first and second since they're talking about. First number is 4 more than the second number, and the second number is x. So then it says 2 times the first number is 6 more than 4 times the second number. And so now I've got one variable in this case. And so I am going to just distribute and set this up. So one number is, oh, I know it. Let's start that again. Sorry, we're doing systems equations. So we're going to say let's get this. One number is 4 more than a second number. And so that's the first number is x, and the second number is y. So we're going to say second number is y. All right. So now we've got 2 times the first number is 6 more than 4 times the second number. So now we've got our 2 equations. So let me highlight them. This is my first equation, and this is my second equation. And so I could do this by substitution, but what I see on this first problem, or the second problem, is that I see that I can divide everything by 2, and that might make it a little bit easier. So let's divide this by 2. And so now I get x is equal to 3 plus 2y. And so I can set those equal to each other. So 4 plus y is equal to 3 plus 2y. And so we're going to solve it by subtracting y and subtracting 3. And so y comes out to be 1. And if y is 1, then x is 4 plus 1, which is 5. All right. The next one we're going to do is talking about jewelry. So we've got bracelets and we've got necklaces, okay? So we know that the number of bracelets and necklaces she ordered was 120 pieces. So bracelets plus necklaces is 120. Then it's $10 per bracelet and $12 per necklace, and she wrote a check for $12.40. And so I would multiply this top equation by -10 so that I get -10b minus 10n is equal to -1200. And then I've got positive 10b plus 12n is equal to 1240. And so these are going to eliminate. And negative 10n plus 12n makes 2n. And negative 1200 plus 1240 makes positive 40. And then I divide by 2. And so the number of necklaces is 20. So that means that she purchased 100 bracelets. So we would substitute in B plus 20 is equal to 120. So the number of bracelets would be 100. Now with your chemistry solutions, remember we're going to make that table, and you don't have to change the percents to decimals. You simply have to drop the percent sign, okay? So they need 80 milliliters of the 24% solution. So I'm going to put the 24% solution is what we want to make, okay? But she has a 6% solution and a 30% solution, okay? So we don't know how many milliliters they need of each of these, but we know we want to make 80 milliliters. Then I just drop the percent signs and write those numbers there. And then the last column, I'm going to have to multiply. So this becomes 6x, this becomes 30y, and 80 times 24 becomes 1920. So my two equations are x plus y is equal to 80, and then 6x plus 30y is equal to 1920. I would multiply this top equation by negative 6, so that I get, and I'm just going to write it underneath, negative 6x minus 6y is equal to negative, that is what, 480. And then I'm going to eliminate the x's. 30y minus 6y is 24y. And 1920 minus 480 is 1440. Divide through by 24. And so that gives me that I need 60 milliliters of the 30% solution. So 60 milliliters. And that means I would need 20 milliliters of the 6%. And 20 milliliters plus 60 milliliters makes the 80 milliliters. Okay? All right, and then the last one that we're going to do is our distance problem. So it is flying 768 miles with the wind in 4 hours. It travels the same distance against the wind in 6 hours. So we are going to write, let's make our table here, with and against, whoops, can't spell, with and against distance, rate, and time. So the distance traveled with the wind is 768 miles. The distance traveled against the wind is the same. And so now we have the aircraft, okay? So we're going to say the airplane plus the wind is going with, and against would be the aircraft minus the wind. And so we fly this one in 4 hours and this one in 6 hours. So I'm actually going to read my problem like this. I'm going to say 4 times A plus W is equal to 768. And I'm going to say 6 times A minus W is equal to 768. And now the easiest thing to do in this problem is to get rid of the number in front of the parentheses. And so that's going to give me A plus W, and 768 divided by 4 is 192. And then I'm going to divide by 6, and 768 divided by 6, that leaves me with a minus w is equal to 128. And now I'm set up to add these two equations together. The w's cancel. A plus a is 2a, and that equals 10, 12, 320. And 320 divided by 2 tells me that the airplane is flying at 160 miles per hour, but they want the speed of the wind. So I'm just going to substitute in to either one of these equations. So I'm going to take 160 plus the wind is 192. So it looks like the wind is going 32 miles per hour.